Good afternoon, Rabbi.
Good afternoon, Joe.
I was reading the other day, there's an island somewhere in the British Isles that if you spend a year there with no internet, no television, no telephone, they will pay you $1 million to do it. I had a friend who visited a resort in Virginia where the big selling point was that you had no telephone, no television, no internet connection at all, so you could get back in touch with nature. And she lasted about 4 hours, I think, before she got back in her car and drove back to civilization. What is it about this ability to communicate? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What are your thoughts on that?
As with so many, in fact, as with everything in the universe, it's neither a good thing nor a bad thing. It's how we respond to it and what we do it. It's neat that you asked that. Well, bring this up actually, because in this week's Torah portion, God invites Moses to come up on the mountain for the second set of the tablets, the 10 commandments, the 10 utterances. And the quote is important. God spoke to Moses and said, "Come up on the mountain and meet me. Be there." What? What are the words "be there" doing? I mean, think about it, Joe. God says to you, "I want to give you a private tutorial, a lesson. I'm going to reveal to you for 40 days secrets, stories about the universe, about the creation, about how people live." You're not going to go to Starbucks and get a latte. You're not going to say, "Oh, wait a minute, God, I have a TV show on Netflix I have to watch." You're going to go. There's no question. So why did God say, "Meet me on the mountain, Moses, and be there"? So let's focus in on that "be there," because I think that's exactly what you're asking. That's exactly what we're all wrestling with. There's two things going on. One is I go somewhere, so my body is there, I'm sitting, but where is my mind? Where am I? And so the distractions that we have today have just ratcheted up our ability not to be there. And I point out what God said to Moses, so we don't think this is something new. It's just that we have greater distractions. And it's much harder now to be there. I mean, look at the impeachment trial. It's a trial. And our senators are the jury. Some of them put their feet up. Some of them are doodling. Some are reading newspapers. Some aren't even bothering to show up. If you are a juror, you're responsible for being there, not just your body, but to be there. Another good example is when you go to a play, to a theater, to a concert. They start by asking everyone to turn off their iPhones, their devices, shut it off. Now, two good reasons. One is there are some ringtones that are annoying, offensive, weird. So you don't want them to go off. But the second is they're telling everyone, you are coming to a performance. We want you, the audience, to be there. Rather than, oh, hold on, I think I just got a text. Oh, it's from one of my daughters. I'll get it later. I'll get it. I don't want to interrupt. That if it's not there, the problem being we've gotten so accustomed to being on demand 24/7 for thinking that we must respond whenever someone texts or calls. That's one. The other piece is that we don't want to be in the moment. And I think this is very, very telling. It's very difficult to be in the moment. It's very difficult to participate, to concentrate. And so we give in to, it's like a siren in Greek mythology. We give in to the potential, to the sound that, well, well, you know what, I want to check my news feed because there's something else going on in the world and maybe something happened that I really need to know about. And the things you're talking about, the trailer, the island, all confront us. Can I be alone with my thoughts? Can I be alone? Can I put things aside?
So many jobs today require multitasking. That's the buzzword that everybody uses. Can you multitask? Can you do more than one thing at once? Can you pay attention to many things at the same time? And I always see the ability to disconnect as and be in the moment as an advantage, but so many other people seem to have trouble with it.
That's because you're an artist. An artist has the wonderful ability to be in their own world, not even in the same universe I'm in. Artists have this ability to turn things off, and that's why they're artists. And what I've discovered about myself is I can do many things poorly, incorrectly, and with mistakes. If I focus on one thing, I have a better chance of doing it accurately and correctly. And I have trouble with the term multitasking. I have yet to meet someone that can do multiple things well. You know, you're too young to remember, but Sears Roebuck once came out with a tool that did everything. It was a drill press, it was a lathe, it was a hammer, anything, it was everything you wanted. It could do over a dozen different tasks poorly. Think about one size fits all. Doesn't fit anybody. That's why it fits everybody. A friend of mine, a physician, one of his parents died, and according to the Jewish tradition, you sit shiva. You sit for 7 days and you mourn. You receive people, comforters, but the goal of the 7 days is you don't go to work, you don't answer the phone, you just feel. And so he decided that he was going to sit shiva the way he had seen his parents sit shiva for his grandfather. Okay? And so he turned off the phone, told the practice that he was unavailable. At the end of the 7 days, first thing he did was call the practice. And they said to him, "Oh, it was fine. You have colleagues. We all did. We saw our patients, and it was fine." At that moment, he realized what we don't want to realize, that we're not indispensable. That there are times, most of the time, when things will be fine. The practice existed before he joined it, and it'll exist after he leaves it. And we discussed this. It's a very hard realization to realize the world will continue, the job will continue, and here's a medical practice. And that's the most I can think of that you have to call, that you have to interrupt someone. Why does a boss or an agency need it now, at this minute? What is it? And if someone in a medical practice can have his colleagues covered, certainly you can do without me for hours.
I got to go watch a TV show now. Just kidding.
No, you're not. And that's why we have a DVD, so you can record it and watch it later.
There you go. Well, thank you very much for the words of wisdom, Rabbi. We'll look forward to the next time.
Thank you.
Assuming we're not busy doing something else.
It's a deal.